Hello and good morning. This is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser. I did want to give you a quick update with regards to some of the weather here in the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area. Looks like we do have some showers. This is pre-recorded here at around 7:30 this morning, Central Daylight Time. So you can certainly see a few showers, spotty showers at best, pushing off into northeast direction. And what's going to happen today, we'll get to that in just a moment. But as you can see, the temperatures aren't all that bad. They're 70. The dew point is still kind of high. Got lots of moisture fueled up into our southeast. So let's go ahead and take a quick peek at our dew points that we currently have on the HRRR weather model. All right, here's a few of those estimated dew points around the area. This would be based on the HRRR weather model and how those are going to play out today. Plenty of moisture, but on the back side of this front, we will have the much drier air, 30-degree dew points. So much drier, more of a good feel, but lots of moisture is pumping in here. And what does that tell me? If there's lots of moisture all the way along here and drier, cooler air on the backside, that is definitely some ingredients for some severe weather. And today is no exception. We do have the slight risk over areas of Sioux Falls for severe weather. So this would be a 2 out of 5. Marginal risk just to the west of Sioux Falls, areas like Mitchell, and then general thunderstorms west of Mitchell area along this gradient. Let me go ahead and take these off and take a look at what these temperatures are going to do. This is a look at 1 p.m. Okay, 80-degree temperatures based on HRRR, 70s. And then we do have the 80s out here. But here comes that cooler air. Let's go ahead and put that into play here. Much cooler, drier air on the back side of that. As you can tell here, obviously it's in the evening hours, so 40s and 50s. But the second wave of cooler air is likely going to push through tomorrow, being the 19th, versus today. And for that, we have to take a quick peek at our NAM 3K so that you can see that a little bit better, since that particular model is not far enough out. That's a short-range weather model, the HRRR is. This is as well, but this will get us through a little bit farther along. And as you can see, much cooler air there. And then we warm back up for a little bit, but then 19th and the 20th, early morning hours, 7 a.m. we got 50s out west, even some upper 40s in northwestern quadrant of Nebraska, 45 up in areas extreme north over in Aberdeen area, and 60-degree weather there early morning on the 20th. And those are probably going to be more of our highs for the most part until we get into the afternoon and we try to warm back up. As you can see, probably some moisture popping up again. Yep, for areas in the south of Nebraska, as well as in Kansas and Missouri areas. That's where that moisture will be on the 20th. So a couple days from now, let's go ahead and take a look at where those storms end up being. Well, that makes sense. We do have the second day, meaning tomorrow. That's the 19th, where those storms push off to the east. We have to wait for this to update. So those storms will be fueled by this moisture right here tomorrow afternoon. Hence the reason, as of this morning's SPC update, they do show that this is likely the area where there's going to be possibility of wind, hail. Those are going to be the primary threat. And if we take a quick peek at SPC's outlook for tornadoes, that as well. Wind, hail, and tornado threat. This is 2 days out. So tomorrow, this is where everything shifts. We got the 5% outlook of significant tornadoes there, 2% on the outskirts of that, which would be all the way down into Topeka, and you can see that as we have that massive tight gradient of cooler air, dew points in the 40s, 70s here, and this is even more significant, 73, 72, and 54 there. But that drier air is going to push over. Now these surface troughs here and the low pressures, these are measurements as of 4 a.m. this morning, so just be aware that that is not the current position of those. All right, let's move down to the tropics and see what we got here. We got an overall chance of 20%. Some storm chasers are saying the Cayman Islands are going to really blow up and could end up having our next tropical storm to develop there. I'm not so sure, but you know, we'll have to see how that plays out. If anything, probably 7 to 10 days out from this area. I'm not saying that we're definitely not going to get anything, but based on this information, I would say I would be in agreement. 20% is pretty accurate. Now, this area here is an area of concern as well, but this is way, way out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at our satellite loop for our main area development, but I do want to try to get this. There we go. Atlantic Basin, let's take a look at that. Certainly see some things are stirring up, but nothing really significant at this point. All right, so let's get back to today. Today, September 18th. What are the risks for today? Well, as you can see here, Sioux Falls is under the gun for risks of tornadic activity. 2%, so fairly low. And it's interesting that they have this because based on HRRR weather model, it does not show really anything significant for that until way later, right around 8 p.m. And that even isn't that huge. But if there could be some clouds that give way from those morning showers that we had today, certainly a possibility. So that's probably why they have that risk there. So that's for the tornado activity. Let's see what the risks are for wind and hail. So our wind risks are this whole swath here. I did say last update that I gave y'all in a video, I was saying that it was likely Wednesday we were going to have some kind of slight risk in this area, and there it is. So this will be possibility of some wind gusts, isolated large hail. This covers, of course, parts of Minnesota. Surface trough will be the primary feature of interest with a plume of 60-degree dew points, extending northward to east of the boundary from the southern Great Plains into upper Midwest in wake of early day dissipating shower thunderstorms activities in eastern Dakotas and southern Kansas. Heating of an adequately moist boundary layer will result in moderate destabilization by mid-afternoon, 1500 to 2500 joules per kilogram of CAPE. To scattered thunderstorms are forecast with a zone of 25 to 40 knots, 0 to 6 shear. Some model guidance varies on storm coverage across the slight risk. So let's take a look at that. Let's shut this off for our wind threat. But before we do, I do want to show the hail threat, pretty much the same swath right here. And we'll shut these guidances or these outlooks off for now so that we can show you that bulk shear but first let's show that surface-based CAPE. That's 5 p.m. And let's see if it goes through that update. Alright, so as you can see, the greener and then once it gets to the yellows, that's where you have more of the significant CAPE. CAPE's coming in there. Midnight time frame. So let's put it at like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. This particular weather model doesn't support much. I mean, if a rogue cell can get going, it might have a brief spin up, but I really don't see much. Let's go ahead and take a look at NAM3K and see what that weather model shows. And we'll show that for the same time frame, just to kind of see what they're thinking here. Okay, they're using NAM3K because the surface-based CAPE, that ends up being higher on this particular one. Okay, let's take a look at our bulk shear. If I can get to that. Oh, that's on the NAM. That's on the other one. Alright, so let's take a quick peek at surface-based SIN. That would be our capping of the atmosphere. So as you can see, this one shows in the early afternoon hours, around 1 p.m., the cap breaks. So it takes a little while for things to get going. Develops a little bit more cloud cover here. That could be some of those storms. Let's look at the composite reflective. Really doesn't show. I'm not too confident on this. You know, I'm not too confident on this outlook. We'll have to see how it plays out. But let's go ahead and take a quick peek at that bulk shear if I can get the right model to show me that. Alright, so here is the NAM 12K. I really don't see. Well, yes, down here. So here's my thought. I think the risk for severe weather is going to be more towards our south versus clear up north into Sioux Falls. And the reason for that is, and severe weather, I mean like tornado type activity. I'm thinking it's going to be right here more so than it would be along this edge. That doesn't mean that there's going to be tornadoes. It just means that I think the parameters are showing that. Let's see here. Okay, so significant tornado parameters is a measurement of everything, basically the elements that are needed to have the greatest potential for tornadic activity. Doesn't mean that there's a 100% guarantee of a tornado. It just means that those elements are there. There's other factors that could play into it that could hinder it. Capping, not enough bulk shear, those types of things as well. So there is possibility, I would say, right in this area, north of Norfolk. But I want to take a look at HRRR. That's a more recent update. So I just switched that. Now that has not it's in the middle of an update. So I went back to the 7 a.m. update. So these weather models are not in agreement at all. And that tells me that maybe overdone. Let's see if they have an update from the SPC. They may have downgraded this a little bit. Let's take a look here. Oh, okay. They did have this this graphic updated at 7:33, so shortly before the recording of this broadcast. So that shows thunderstorms capable of severe wind gusts and isolated large hail are possible. The slight risk, isolated versus scattered, but forecast sounding profiles indicate a risk for organized storms mainly in the form of organized multicells and supercells. Stronger storms during the late afternoon through the early evening before the activity begins to weaken. Further south into the southern and central plains, low levels are forecast to be drier near the surface trough, with dew points expected to be mostly in the upper 50s and lower 60s. The updrafts and resultant severe intensity coverage models. North will likely contribute to tempering the overall intensity of the updrafts and resultant severe intensity coverage models. Models suggest perhaps locally higher storm coverage and resulting severe wind threat from Texas Panhandle north, northeast into far southern Kansas during the late afternoon and early evening. So that is probably going to be down here more so than here. We'll have to see how this plays out. Nonetheless, for today, definitely make sure that you stay weather aware, keeping an eye on National Weather Service and your quadrant. So Aberdeen, National Weather Service pretty much covers, and I'm doing just an outline here, pretty much covers this area here. It's a very rough outline. And then National Weather Service Sioux Falls covers this area here. Actually goes into Minnesota further. Bad drawings. We do have wind advisory out in extreme northwest part of South Dakota, and then further over west we do have the high wind warnings over in Montana and up in Wyoming. So lots of wind going on. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at our 500 millibar wind through the European model here. And we might be able to see that low pressure develop area a little bit easier. You can see it's like up here in this area here, but then another one is right over here on the back side of that, and that's probably going to eject and go over. Yep, sure is. That's going to be the one that develops and pushes through Minnesota area. And we got this crazy wind over here. So this is probably going to be our next system towards the end of the month that we will probably end up seeing even more of a significant drop in our temperatures. We'll have to see how that plays out, because this, depending on how far it deepens, well, that looks like it's going to stay north, and probably a high pressure developing over in this area here, because the lower level jet, this jet stream here, is going to continue to keep us warm. Let's take a look at 6 to 10 day outlook for temperatures. Let me shut these severe risks off for now. Well, you can definitely see warm temperatures for the 6 to 10 day outlook. And then if we go to 8 to 14 for temperatures, yep, continuing warm temperatures. So that would be why, is because expecting a high pressure to develop over this area, keeping us dry, even if after these storms move through, of course. So let's take a look at the precipitation outlook for the 8 to 14. There it is, 8 to 14, dry air. Even 6 to 10 is likely going to put us at drier than normal. See, it's not huge. Certainly 33% chance. So we're on the back side of this. So after these storms move through, it's going to begin to be very dry, warmer than usual, not excessively warm, but warmer than usual for the rest of September. We'll end up drying out a little bit, and then we'll have to see what's on the front for October. I'll begin looking at more of the winter weather development for next month as I prepare for November winter predictions. So that is all that we have right now. I will give you another quick peek at the current conditions that are out there right now. If I shut off all these, this is as of 8 a.m. This is where those showers are. 70 degrees in Sioux Falls, 64 degree dew point, and of course showers, thunderstorms kind of pushing off into a north-northeast direction. Not too bad out there today. Last look at our severe weather to highlight. Categorical, we do have the Sioux Falls area under a slight risk. So a 2 out of 5. 1 out of 5 for areas that are west of Sioux Falls area, and even all the way up to just south of Fergus Falls, Minnesota, as you can see right here. Let's do a broad look so we get everything. So this is kind of the center area of concern here for today, and likely storms will develop late this afternoon. How severe they're going to be? Well, based on SPC's prediction, they do have that 2% risk of tornadic activity Again, I think it's conditional. That's just my thoughts. And then we do have the risk for the wind. That, I believe, will be a threat. And as well as some hail. I really think the tornadic risks are not chaseable, in my opinion. But hail and wind is definitely a factor. So if you love to hear the hail drop and get damage on your vehicles, there you go. All right, so that is the latest weather update from the 605 Chaser Studio. I want to thank our sponsors, Refuel Nutrition, Mission Nutrition, Fit Revolution Nutrition, as well as Prairie Pro General Contractors. Prairie Pro General Contractors, request a quote today at prairieprosd.com. And all the wonderful nutritional needs are from Fit Revolution, Refuel Nutrition, and Mission Nutrition. They're all located in Sioux Falls. Get your brownie batter mocha, one of my great coffee drinks that I get with protein. It's not gritty. It's definitely a desired taste. If you love coffee, if you love Starbucks, but you are trying to keep your figure and keep that weight down, so that way you can be ready for the next summer, you want to make sure that you go to one of their great coaches today and check them out. They are definitely knowledgeable of all the protein needs and all the different benefits. So they've got drinks like Nerds and other fruit roll-up. They've got things that just the names alone are pretty creative. They've got vitamins, essential vitamins, B12s. I went from 252 pounds to 165 pounds. Have kept that off for a number of years. And obviously, with the help of their great coaches, it's been able to be great for me. And I hope that this finds you well as well. So have a great day. Stay safe. God bless.